Guys, welcome back to our continuing study of the Cold War. This new section we're going to call The Cold War Heats Up. We're going to see how the Cold War starts to expand and grow. And this section here we're talking about how communism spreads into China, or how China becomes a communist country. Prior to World War II, decades before World War II, we'd seen two factions in China battling against each other. The Chinese communists led by Mao Zedong and the Chinese nationalists led by Chiang Kaishek. Chiang had received billions of dollars from the United States to, again, support his movement, oppose the movement of the communists in China. So the United States was really lending support to Chiang Kaishek. Many Americans impressed with how Chiang is able to withstand Japanese attacks during World War II. If you remember our study of World War II, we talked about how Japan invaded and took over Manchuria, renamed it Manchukuo. They stopped their attacks on China for a period of time upon the United States' request, but then renewed their attacks on mainland China. Chiang Kai-shek was the one responsible for withstanding a lot of those attacks by Japan before the United States gets involved in World War II. So Americans had a pretty good opinion of him. Unfortunately, the military leaders for the United States working in China have a totally different view of Chiang and his government being corrupt and inefficient. A couple examples of this: during 1944, a huge famine goes across China. Chiang Kai-shek still imposes a tax on farmers. Protesters, they protest the increase of grain, the 10,000% increase on prices of rice. Those protesters are shot by Chiang's secret police. So the military personnel in China have a totally different view of the outside world and Chiang's supposed ability to stand up against the Japanese. In contrast, we look at the other side of the communists led by Mao Zedong. He's not killing the people. He's encouraging peasants to read. He's giving them helping them with food production. As a result, many people willingly join the Communist Red Army, and his supporters grow because of how he treats the people. During World War II, the two sides do work together, but as soon as World War II is over, once again they split apart and continue this civil war that had been taking place. The United States tries to play peacekeeper, giving $2 billion worth of military equipment and supplies, but Truman does not commit any kind of American soldiers to this area. The economic aid was not enough to save the nationalists. Chiang Kai-shek is forced to flee the country, and he goes to Taiwan. And once in Taiwan, the United States continues to support the nationalist movement, giving millions of dollars to the Taiwanese economy. I think the United States helps set up a new Chinese government in Taiwan, but the Chinese communists are able to take over China, and that's how China becomes a communist country. And they name the country the People's Republic of China. Again, republic, not quite exactly what communism stands for, but that's what Mao Zedong calls the new China. As a result of the communist ability to take over China, very typical of people who once supported the Truman Doctrine, as soon as this happens in China, they turn their back and start to criticize the Truman Doctrine. They claim that Truman's policy of containment has failed, and all of his policies start to be attacked. No matter how successful they were in the past, they are now being attacked as money wasters and failures. Conservatives and Democrats alike attack Truman and his policies. And unfortunately, in this case, we see a huge fear of communism spreading within the United States. The only reason that our containment policy failed in China is because we must now have communists infiltrating our government, infiltrating Truman's cabinet, infiltrating the Democratic Party. And so there's a rising fear of communism within the United States, and we'll continue on with that thought in the next section. Thanks, guys.